Welcome, guys, and good evening, everyone. Okay, so we shall begin with our today's session. So, when does the woman become a rebel? Does she have to go against the flow or do something extraordinary? Well, we have our answer. A woman becomes rebel when she learns to go and become the creator of her own glorious destiny. Our guest for today is no different because she lives her life straight from her heart. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our super shiny event. I am your today's host, Khushi Ukey, ready to have a sizzling conversation with our guest today. She is someone who is living life by her own and has made a strong mark by getting placed in cognizant. Please welcome our very own talented, beautiful, and young mind, Ms. Saumya, a fourth year student of Priyadarshini College of Engineering from Computer Technology Department. Welcome to the show, Saumya. Before we get started, I want to welcome everyone on today's talk, Mulakhat, an interaction with play student organized by Training and Placement Department of Priyadarshini College of Engineering, Nagpur. A very good evening to everyone who are joined with us today. I welcome Principal Dr. Asid Ali sir, our Vice Principal Dr. G.M. Asudkar sir, Dr. S.W. Varade ma'am, Dean of TNP Department, Dr. Soni Aturvedi ma'am, Co-Dean of TNP Department, and Professor Satish Tiwari sir, our event in charge. The objective of this event is to know the procedure of interview and campus placement and off campus placement, to understand the rules and regulations of company interviews, to know about the scope and their specific branches, and to get professional working cultural ideas. So, guys, let's get started. If anyone will have any question, please type them up in the chat box. So, Soumya, my very basic question to you. Tell us about yourself, like your background. Were you an idle student during your 10th and 12th? And do you always wanted to do engineering? And what were your preparations, like everything?
So, from the very beginning, I was always an average student in my school, and I ended up in my 10th scoring really well. And I started thinking that whether I should prepare for engineering or I should opt for some other field. But my parents told that you should opt for engineering. So after then, I choose PCM as my stream, and I scored an average marks in my 12th itself, and I ended up being in this college, Priyadarshini College of Engineering. And from the very first day, I was too much into, like, I wanted to have a placement at the end of my engineering. I always wanted to have some sort of play, some sort of offer letter and internship experiences and several other things with me, so that I could have always I could tell someone that yeah, I have achieved all these things in my college career itself. So after then, as I entered in my college, I started preparing from my second year itself. I mean, I just started learning few basic languages, which were computer-oriented languages. And my main preparation started when there was lockdown, and after then I was fully concentrated into my studies. And then several other companies were releasing their on-campus placements, and that was the time when I was selected during July 2021. And yeah, that was all.
Okay, so it seems that you're all clear that what you wanted to do in future. So I want to ask you, Soumya, that how does it feels to get placed? That what were your parents' reactions, and how are you feeling now?
Uh, as soon as I got to know that I have been placed, I was extremely delighted and extremely happy, because I wasn't expecting this, because I have applied to a company for the very first time, and I got selected in the first attempt itself. So that was a very proud moment for me. When I have submitted my resume, I was like, should I submit my resume or not? Whether I've been selected or not, or should I step back and prepare for more time, and then I should give my resume, submit my resume, and then maybe I'll be appearing for several companies. But few of my colleagues and my friends told that, yeah, you should at least try to upload your resume, and selection or rejection is not in our hand. It just our try matters. So after that, I sent my resume. My resume got selected, and I was among the top 3 students in the coding round. So I was not expecting that as well. And as soon as I came to know that, yeah, I have been selected in my coding round, and I'll be appearing for an interview session from the Cognizant team. So at that time, I thought that, yeah, if I have came this far, then surely I will be able to bag this offer. And after my interview ended, and everything was in my interview, everything gone really well, and it ended really very smoothly. And as I received a message and email that I have been selected from Cognizant, that was the happiest moment in my life, because I will cherish it forever. And it was for the first time that it ever happened. And now my parents are really proud that I have been placed in a company from as soon as I entered in my final year. So after that, I have been preparing for several other companies, and let's see what happens next.
Surely that must be the best feeling, seeing your parents proud, and actually having an ambition to make our parents proud motivates you yourself.
Mhm.
So, Soumya, I want to ask that what are the preparations you have done before the interview?
So my preparation journey started from my second year. I started preparing for C++ language, and I wasn't confident in that language. I was just reading it, learning it, and trying. I was just trying to learn it. And when COVID happened and lockdown was everywhere, so there was no other thing which got me to be distracted. And then I was really focused on my study. So at that time, I started learning C++ again. I ended up learning it very smoothly, and I know each and everything of C++ as far I know. And after that, I thought that, yeah, I should go up with the data structures and algorithm, because data structures and algorithm is the building block of any coding round question. Because any question which is being asked in the coding round is mainly dependent upon the DSA, and DSA is solved using any languages. So my language was already clear, and after that, I started out with data structures and algorithm, which took me approx 4 to 5 months to complete DSA. And after that, I started doing web development. I started with my front end development, and then I started studying several other subjects like operating system, DBMS, and computer network. These subjects was merely important in the interview. And before that, I also started solving few aptitude questions at that time. And Then was a time that companies were asking to submit your resume, and then I made my resume itself and I submitted it. And after that, my resume got selected. And then after that, after the submission of my resume and the selection of it, I was having the in coding round competition. So the question in the coding round was not that difficult. It was just a moderate level question. I mean, it included HTML, CSS, JavaScript in MCQ, and like coding questions were asked. That was based upon data structures and algorithm, and it has few choices like whichever language I wanted to use with it. So these questions were not were merely like moderately difficult, and I was able to solve two questions in out of three. And in sequel part, there was also sequel question series where I was able to solve one question, and I was in the top three list of the coding round competition. And after that, I received the mail of interview session with the interviewer from Cognizant. So that was the preparation which I did.
Okay, so that was quite a lot preparations you did. So talking
Yeah.
about resume, so tell us about
Mm-hmm.
the resume, like how to make our resume more stronger.
According to me, a resume should always be a single page. It shouldn't be like double pages resume because that is not counted much. And I think a resume should be very truthful. I mean, there are several students who add very those skills which they do not know about it. They might add few languages, few some tech stacks which they do not know, and they end up like losing the interviews itself because an interview the interview mainly focuses on your resume. Whatever things which we have added in our resume are is being asked by the interviewer. So I think resume should always be truthful, and it should have skills which the students know very thoroughly. And after that, I think we should also add experiences which we have, like internship. There might be internship experiences or teaching assistant experiences. Any sort of experiences will work, but there should be an experience attached to it in the resume. And I think project, yeah, project also plays a vital role in the resume because project is something which will be discussed in the interview, and interviewer will know about your project from your resume itself, that which kind of project have you made. And at the time of shortlisting of the resume now, there are several other skills which they are requiring, which the company specifically requires from the students. Like they might require that students should know backend, they should know DBMS, or they should know this particular languages. So I think your resume should be crisp. It should include your project, the various projects which you have made. I think 1 to 2 projects will be enough, and the projects which you have made should always be it's nothing like it should be unique. Matlab, if it will be unique, it will be a plus point. Or else, if it's a common project, but yeah, if you have invested a lot of time making it, then it will count for sure. Think so. Project is important. Your experiences, your past experiences in any of the company is important. The technology stack which you will be adding in your skill section is important. And I think your position of responsibility, your achievements, these are two things which should also be added in your resume. Yeah, so these were the important key points which should be added up
Okay,
while making your resume. Yeah.
okay, it means that resume gives your impression. They judge you by your resume, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So, Soumya, as we know, that lockdown made it very hard for student to study. At least it made very hard to me to study during lockdown, to prepare for anything. So, tell me, Soumya, that what are the things that kept you motivated during your preparations?
As per my view, I think lockdown made my preparation journey really easier because there were no distractions. Like we were not able to hang out outside and roam around the city. So we were packed in our house and we had nothing to do. I think there was a lot of time to spend, and I decided that I have to get placed in any company by the end of this year. So I started preparing by then, and my parents were constantly asking me that, are you preparing, or you will be doing your masters, or whether you'll be joining into the company, like what have you thought for yourself? Then I at that time I told them that I want to do a job. I will be having a placement by the end of this year for sure. And then there was not stepping back. I mean, I have told my parents that I wanted to do this. And after that, I rigorously started preparing for the interview sessions. I started giving several interviews, several aptitude rounds, several competitive question solving. And I started up making my own projects. I was like studying whole I was studying like whole month. I studied across 6 to 8 months, and it was like rigorous practice, rigorous preparation, and after that I ended up having this job. I mean, the motivation which I had was I wanted to have a job with me. I wanted to get placed, and I already have told my parents that there is no another option. I have to get placed. So yeah, that was the thing which got motivated,
Yes,
kept me motivated. Yeah,
actually having your goal set, and there is nothing which will demotivate you.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
um, I want to ask that what kind of questions did they asked when you went for the company interview?
From as soon as I joined the Meet link, uh, the first thing that interviewer asked me was introduce yourself, and I was very nervous at that time. I started my introduction, whatever things I have prepared, that yeah, I need to speak this, I have to speak my experiences, my achievements, my responsibilities, um, my merits, my demerits, everything I have prepared long way. So I started up with that, and after that I was like very comfortable with the interviewer, and whichever question the interviewer were asking, I was able to answer each one of them. Like they have asked me approx 5 to 10 questions, and I was able to answer everything. And mainly they focused on my project. The interviewer, he asked me that explain your project, and I explained the project really well. And after that, he mainly focused on my resume, whichever skills that I have added in my resume were his main concern, because I have added several courses which I have done, like DSA, DBMS, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js, and MongoDB, everything which I have learned. And at last, sir told me that, you know what, we had the requirement of a backend developer. And he asked me that, do you know backend development? So I was like, sir, I don't know really backend development, but I have 2 months of time and I'll be easily doing it. So I built up faith in him, and he trusted me that, yeah, she will be able to do this. And after that, I got selected. So my interview lasted for, I think, 45 minutes, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And there was one-on-one conversation, and several questions were asked, and I was able to answer, I think, all of them.
Okay, it seems that you haven't faced any drawbacks while at the time of your interviews. And yes,
Yeah,
final project plays the important role during your interview, as we get question asked related to our final projects only.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I personally feel that sitting with everyone and waiting for your turn to come and getting all questions in mind before the interview can itself reduce 50% of your confidence. So I want to ask you that how to be confident at the time of interview.
Uh, as per the thing I remembered of that day, um, I ended up entering in the session with my interviewer the first question he asked was introduce yourself. I was very nervous and panicked and stressed at that time, but I started speaking up a lot more. Like I have prepared several things and for my self introduction, and I started speaking like I have done these things, and he started conversating with me. And after that, I was like, I know this person. I'm able to conversate with him. I'm able to explain the things which I know to him, and I was very comfortable with my interviewer. And at that point of time, I thought, yeah, now I'm very confident. I think the question of the self introduction which he asked me was the time where I was panicked, and after that, I was feeling really confident because I was able to answer all the questions he was asking me from my self introduction itself. So at that point, I thought that yeah, if I'll not answer his question, I'll not be selected. So I started speaking up everything whichever thing I was knowing, and yeah, we have one-on-one conversation, and it went really well.
Okay, so I think that your self introduction should be that much stronger that it will give you more of the confidence.
Yeah.
So my another question is, how did you convince the interviewers that you are the good fit for this job?
See, I told you multiple times that he asked me every question, and I was able to answer all the questions which he asked. And I think the as I answered all the questions, that made him feel the interviewer feel that yeah, if she's answering all the questions, she knows all the things which she has already added up in her resume. So I think that made resume think that if she knew all the things, then why not hire her? I mean, there was a point of time where Sir asked me that, do you know backend development? And I told him that I wasn't knowing it probably, but I'll be learning it within 2 months of duration. He built up faith in me that, okay, there is a lot of time for you to prepare for backend development. So you should prepare for it. And after that, will also be, will he told me that, yeah, we'll be hiring you, but at least you should know all these things, the DBMS part and everything. So at that time, I was like, no, I thought that yeah, this might be a point of time that I'll be rejected because I wasn't knowing backend development. But still, Sir told me that it is not such a big deal. You should have known it, and if there's a situation that you don't know, then you have time, do for it, work for it, and whenever your internship will start, we'll catching up with it. And I think at that time I was able to answer.
Okay.
I was able
Okay.
to
So
convince him. Yeah.
okay. So that's all questions from my side. Now let's move to the audience. So guys, the
Yeah.
chat box is open. Please feel free to have to ask any kind of questions or you're having any kind of doubts. Mm, okay, it's question from Richa Dahake. She is asking
Yeah.
that from where did you do this course during lockdown?
See, I was Google searching everywhere that where should I start preparing for this journey, and I ended up with Coding Ninjas. This is a platform where there was everything with it, with the Coding Ninjas. I mean, there was a DSA course which included their C++ language, Java, or Python. There was a choice, and we had choice to opt for any of the languages within the three, and I opted for C++ with data structures. And I bought this course. I started focusing on it, and the concept which the concept with which they explained was extremely mind blowing, because they were able to build everything that they were explaining, the computer parts and the data structures, how do they work. I think that was the best part of Coding Ninjas, because they cleared all the difficulties, the troubles which I was facing startingly, and at the end I was like crystal clear with the things which they have taught. And after that, I ended up buying a web development course from Coding Ninjas itself. And it was a full stack modern development course which included MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. And I think Coding Ninja's course was the one thing which helped me crack these companies and which helped me taught these many things and focus on DSA mainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the another question is from Abhishek. Just a second. Abhishek Meshram, that he's asking how to learn and how to prepare for DSA.
See, I told you earlier that I prepared DSA from Coding Ninja's platform, and it's just a super platform to learn everything. I mean, of course, it is paid, but it is worth it. I mean, if you'll join this course, you will join the course and you'll start preparing with it. Then I think your concepts will be crystal clear. So that was how I prepared. I believed in Coding Ninjas, and they made me learn all the concepts very really well. So I think if you'll opt for this, then for Coding Ninjas, your concept will also be superb. So yeah, you should definitely try joining Coding Ninjas.
Okay. So it's question from Ankit Dhable. How many
Hmm.
internships you have done before the placement?
See, I am doing an internship now in the company which I have been placed. And before my placement, it was an early placement. As mean key, I have entered in my final year and I got placed at that time. So it was an early placement, and at that time, interview was not expecting from me that I was having past experiences. But if someone have an experience, it is a plus point. I wasn't having any internship experiences, but still I was a teaching assistant in data structures and algorithm and in web development from Coding Ninjas, and I added up that in my resume too, that I have done teaching assistant job for DSA and web development, and they have asked that several questions regarding that as well. So I think it depends on the duration in which you are giving your interview. If it's happening, if your interview is happening in the last part, in the last semester of your final year, then they might expect that you have an experiences, internship experiences. And if there is a situation that you have been interviewed in the from the very starting of your final year, then I don't think that it's compulsory to have an internship experience. But if you have it, it will always be a plus point.
Okay. So the question from Aditya Chaudhary, that how much does a club or committee membership matters in getting a placement?
See, I am a president of mathematics club. So I have been working in this club from the last year, from my third year. I was secretary last year, and I have done several events, several clubs, several things which helped me boost up my confidence level, my speaking ability, my public appearances. So I think if you are in a committee or in a club, so it helps you to build your personality, the way you speak, the way you present yourself. So I think it matters a lot to be in a committee. And after that, I when I was in my final year. So in my final year, I got an opportunity to be the president. So after that, I was able to write everywhere that I'm the president of this club, and I am doing these things in my club. I also added this thing in my resume itself. So the interviewer also asked me that what kind of works have you done as a president, what kind of activities you have held in your colleges, and how many events have you held it till now. So I think it matters a lot because it helps to build your personality altogether. So I think if you are planning to be in a committee or club, then you should definitely try to be in one or two. It will surely help you to be a nice person and be a well developed personality.
Yes, actually. So the next question is from Kabir. He's asking that what about your future targets, and are you content with the role and salary, or are you gonna work further?
Work further, as in I didn't understand the question.
He's asking that what about your future targets? Are you content with the role and salary, or are you gonna work further?
As per I have decided is that I'll be preparing for several other companies as well. I mean, I have been placed in a service-based company, and I definitely want to try for um, product-based companies. There are several product-based companies. There are many. I mean, I am dying to join it. So I think I'll be working upon it, and I have these many targets that before ending up the engineering life, I surely have a package which will be from a product-based company. So I think you should not settle yourself with a company, with a service-based company, because I think that in service-based company you do not get several opportunities. But if you start preparing for product-based companies, now you will be able. If you'll able to bag up their offers, you will be then you will have several other opportunities. So I think I'll be doing that. I'll be preparing for several product based companies from now onwards, and I am trying to do that.
Okay. So the question from Coder that what is your pointer? What were your pointers? What are your pointers?
Okay. Um, when I submitted my resume, at that point of time, my CGPA was something like 8.5 or 8.7 something. I definitely don't know exactly, but it was approx 8.7 and 8.5,
Okay.
and that was enough at that time, I think.
So Samyak Dahiwale is asking that what will you suggest to second year student from CSE department? I mean about internships. How should we guys begin with it?
I think that second year is really early to start. I mean, it's the best time to start for your preparation because you have a lot of time. So from the very beginning, start learning a language. I mean, start learning C++ or Java or Python, any of these three. Have a strong and thorough understanding in this language. After that, begin with your data structures and algorithms. At least try to solve 450 to 500 questions. I mean, it is not enough, but this is these many questions is like, if you'll try solving these many questions, your mind will be clear on how to approach these questions, how to solve the essay. So yeah, so start solving with DSA questions, start learning DSA. After you have done your DSA, start solve do this. I mean, start your development part. Start doing your projects. Start learning your web development. Either it could be machine learning, blockchain, Angular, React. There are several other options with us. So start learning, start doing development, and um, side by side also at least try to solve 3 to 4 questions a day of DSA, and keep a pace within between both of two. I mean, have a balance between your projects, your development part, and your DSA. And after that, I think if you have done your day projects, and you are like building your own project, you have learned the technology stack already. So start building your projects, and with it, with during this time, also start your competitive programming. I mean, competitive programming also plays an important role to be placed in product-based companies like Microsoft or Amazon or Apple. I mean, these companies demand students to have a competitive programming skill. So if you have a longer duration, I mean, you have a time, you are still in a second year, then you should for sure do competitive programming. Start doing it from your third year and devote your second year to DSA and your development part. And I think for an internship, development in any of the technology and DSA will be enough to get an good internship. Think these is enough, but if you'll start doing competitive programming, then I think you will be ending up being in a really good tech stacks, really good companies, like product based companies.
Okay. So, question from Achi Tiwari. She is asking that can you please explain more about your projects and which you added in your resume?
Yeah, see, my one project which I added over there was um, it was a social media website, and it was just like a clone of Facebook and Instagram. It had several post features, likes, comments features. We could chat on it. We had chatting engine. We could click pictures. It was just a Instagram clone sort of thing, and it took almost a month to make that. And the second project which I have added was a group project, which I made in my third year itself, which was a minor project in my third year. It was an online voting system which had several features like electing a board member of any club or any forum. I mean, it was mainly designed to work for our colleges itself. Like there are several clubs in our colleges, so it was made for that. Like if we want to elect a president or vice president, then that website will be really useful for it. So I added these two projects in my resume.
Okay. So, okay, it is Nikhil is asking that are your parents really proud?
Uh, they are proud, but I think that they are expecting more from me.
More
They want me to,
actually.
yeah, they want me to have a more better placement, a more more packaged placement. They want me to be in a product-based company. So I'm working hard. I will be starting to work from now onwards. So yeah, I mean they're not that proud, but still they have securance that yeah, she's at least placed in a company. That's it. Yeah.
English is important for interview or other language can be used.
Uh, I think it depends on a interviewer. If the interviewer asking you to compulsorily speak English, then you have to do that. Otherwise, in my situation, it was like the interviewer was talking to me in Hindi as well as English. But what I thought at that point of time that I was comfortable with English more. So I decided that I'll be speaking English at that point. So I think if you are a person who does not have a fluency in English, then you should start I mean, no, don't there's no need to practice it. Have a one-on-one conversation with the colleagues, with the friends. I mean, that will help you more. So I think English matters, but it doesn't matters like if you do not know English, then you'll not be selected. It's nothing like that. But if you know it, you will be in a plus point. It is a plus point for sure.
Mm. So it is a question from King Shot that how do you use to balance your academic studies and placement or language preparations?
So I told you earlier that I started my preparation in the lockdown duration, and at that time there was not academic pressure as such. I mean, there was online classes going on, and I think online classes and your preparation does not have to. There was nothing like anything was suffering. I mean, I was having my uh, concentration over academic, and I was preparing for the company at that time as well, because I think we do not have to go to the college, visit college and do several classes. There was nothing like that. You have to be at your home, start a laptop, and listened to his lectures, and it ended like really it ended really easily. And after that, I had several hours of preparation. I had several hours to prepare for my DSA and all. So I think it was easy because of lockdown period.
Okay. So my another question is
From Arpan Mandal, that what is the difference between service based and product based company?
See, the main difference between the two companies is that a service-based company, it doesn't give a candidate a lot of opportunities. I mean, you will have very limited skills to acquire. I mean, if you're working on a project, then they will not demand you that you should learn this, you should have to learn this. I mean, you will not grow. If and if you're talking about product-based companies, then there are many opportunities with product-based companies. I mean, they will offer you these many skills to learn. They will be offering several projects which will have to you will have to learn several skills for it. I mean, there are basic differences, and I think service based companies pay you less, and the packages and product based companies are really high. So I think you all should, of course, prepare for product based companies, because if you are in your second year or your first year, then it will be really, really easy for you all to bag an offer in a product based companies, because they pay you more. Of course, they demand many things from this candidate, but if you have time, then start preparing for product based companies. Then nothing to worry for that you have to place in a service based companies, because you will not grow in a service based companies. So I think you should opt for a product based companies and keep it centric that yeah, you have to be placed in that company.
Okay. So there's a question that does branch play an important role in interview?
I think see, my branch was computer technology, and I have applied for a software development role. So I think I didn't face any problem with it. But if you are in any of your core branches like mechanical or electrical or civil, then you might face several problems, as in they demand several skill set which a mechanical engineer or a civil engineer or an electrical engineer will not know. I mean, there are several subjects like operating system and DBMS which is being taught in computer technology branches or CSE branch or IT branches, and these subjects are not being taught in core branches. I think if you are someone which is from core branches, then you should start preparing for these subjects, and then I think you'll not face any issue in your interview if they'll ask a question.
Okay. So it is a question from Aniket Thakre that how do a guy from Priyadarshini can get into product based company?
See, I think it is really difficult, because in our colleges, the companies which visits our colleges is mainly service based companies. And as per, I think that if you are someone who is into competitive programming, or you are doing a very good development, then nothing can stop you to enter in product based companies. Because I think if we are from Pradarshini College of Engineering, now we will be giving our resume, we'll be placing our resume their off campus in their off campus drive, which product based companies have. You have to send their resume, and after that, they will check on your resume. They doesn't check which colleges have you studied. It doesn't happen like that. I mean, the main thing which they will focus upon is like they will focus on what skill set you have. Do you do competitive programming or not? How many questions have you solved? How is your coding profile? How is your GitHub profile? How is your LinkedIn profile? I think all these things matters for product based companies. And colleges of course matter, but it doesn't have a lot of relations to it. for the product-based companies, because I have seen several persons from my batches itself, um, who have not studied in our colleges, but uh, they are from Nagpur itself, but they have bagged several offers in product-based companies too. So I think it is not that difficult. If you are preparing from an early stage, then you will able to get into product-based companies really easy.
Okay. So a question
Yeah.
from Samyak Dahiwale that if you are a second year student, then
Hmm.
first start with any language like C, C++, Java or Python. So which language will you suggest as a fresher?
Um, If you'll ask me, then I will always say that start with C++, because C++ is really easy to understand. I mean, it has pointers and all these things related to it. But yeah, it is a very fast language. If you are doing competitive programming, then languages which translates them fast, like C++ is a really fast language. So if you use C++ for your competitive programming, then it will be very easy for you to solve competitive programming questions. So if you are someone who is willing to do competitive programming, then please choose C++, or else Java will also work. I mean, Java is a bit slow than C++ for CP, but there are several other platforms like Codeforces and CodeChef who have, who have no problem if you are using Java or Python. But I think C++ is the best one between these three. And several companies, like there are many companies which do not count Python for your coding round. I mean, they reject Python for your solving question. If you're solving question, your DSA question in Python language, they will reject it because they will not give option of Python. So I think choose between C++ or Java will work. And I have choose C++, so I think you should opt for C++ as well, because it's easy.
Okay. Hmm. अक्षय लांजेवा is asking that मैम प्लीज बताओ आप कितने आवर पढ़ते थे?
When I was preparing, I started investing 2 to 3 hours a day, and as I started my preparation in approx during lockdown started, and I started with 2 to 3 hours, and I ended up like I started studying approx 5 to 6 hours a day when I entered in my final year. So I think I gradually increased my study duration when I entered in my final year, and after that I got placed really easily. And I guess August or September I was placed in the company. So 5 to 6 hours is enough.
Okay. So a question from Richa Dahake that can you tell something about open campus?
Okay, you mean off campus?
Yes, I guess so. Yes, off campus.
See, if in our colleges now, okay, wait. Off campus. So I think there are several product-based companies. There are many product-based companies, in fact, which releases their off-campus hiring in January itself. So I think you should check upon the companies which they are when they are releasing their off-campus date, when they are hiring, and when are they asking for their resume. I think you should um, check out these things in LinkedIn. And as in LinkedIn there are several news sections which provides you that that this particular company is hiring for an off campus placement. So yeah, keep an eye on everything with what is happening, which company is hiring now. So LinkedIn will help. There are several YouTube channels which will help you to get an off-campus link, so that you could upload your resume and get an interview or a coding round to you, or receive a mail from the company. So I think you should be concentrated over the YouTube channel and on LinkedIn as well.
Okay. So, a question from Rupesh Thimbare that Soumya, have you prepared for any competitive exams like GATE, RRB, banking exams, etc.?
See, I haven't prepared any one of them, but I have been thinking to prepare for GATE. I haven't appeared for GATE in any in this year, but yeah, I have thought that I'll be preparing for GATE too. Maybe next year
Okay.
I'll be giving GATE. Yeah.
What are your opinion and choosing Java language for preparation?
I think Java will work. I mean, Java service-based companies demands a students who have and who is already experienced in Java. Service-based company has a demand of Java student priorly. So I think if you are someone who have already learned Java and you want to start your DSA preparation with Java, then you could go for it. I mean, Java will also work. You can also do competitive programming with Java, but it will be a bit difficult for you. But if you have started with Java, then you should surely go with it.
Okay. So, what should we focus on? Like problem solving or learning language like Java and Deep?
Could you repeat your question?
What should we focus more? Problem
Hmm.
solving or learning question like Java?
Learning questions like that. See, problem solving is dependent on your DSA skills. If you are someone who have solved many questions in DSA, then your problem solving skill will, of course, will be top notch. But if you are someone who have only learned a language and you're trying to solve a question, um, which is a coding round question which have been delivered to you in your coding round examination, then you will not be able to solve them. You will not be able to solve them because DSA plays an important role for having a problem solving skills. So I think DSA will surely help you if you are someone who is willing to have a problem solving skill with you.
Okay. So, a question from Karthik Mate that is it easy for on campus than off campus?
I think on-campus placements are really easy because the companies visits your colleges and every procedure is really smooth and easy. But if you are someone who have to bag an offer and who have to bag an offer by an off-campus placement, then it will be a bit difficult because you have to wait for your mail that whether you have received your coding round link or have you not received it, whether you have received for an interview link or not. So you will have to wait patiently. But this is not the scenario for an or for an on-campus placement.
Okay. So, a question from Anshuman Rao that what if cracked GSOC does that help for placement?
See, GSOC, I mean, of course, it is the best thing which you can do for getting into product-based companies because GSOC is something which will help you to have a top-notch development skill with you. And if you have mentioned in your resume that you are someone who have achieved GSOC, who have cracked GSOC, then that will surely help you to get into product-based companies. I mean, it's the best thing you can do. So start preparing for GSOC. It is the best.
Okay. Okay, I think we should end our question and answer session. Guys, you will be getting the live recorded session. So, my last question to you, Soumya, that what message will you give to your juniors and upcoming freshers?
So the message which I like to deliver to my junior will surely be that start preparing from today itself, because this day will never come. I mean, if you're having a dream to get in to have a higher packages, like if you want to have 48 LPA packages, you want to be in a product based company, then you should start really early. If you're in your first year or in your second year, then I think it's the best time for it's the best time for you. I mean, it will be really easy to bag an offer in a product based companies if you are starting really early. But if you are someone who is in your third year, then I think it's not too late, because I also started preparing in my third year itself. I started learning languages and several other things. I mean, if you are in a third year and you are willing to start your preparation journey to get placed in a company, then I think you have to devote more number of hours to study. And if you are in your first or second year, then lesser number of hours devoted to your study will also work, because you have a duration of 3 years left with you. So I think start early, and then you will be ending up bagging an great and awesome offer at the end. It will always be worth it if you will start early, I think.
Okay. So, thank you so much, Soumya, for gracing this event with your lovely presence, and thank you so much for talking to us so freely. And we really appreciate you being with us. And thank you everyone for their lovely presence and for making this event more lively. Subscribe to your channel and stay connected with us to get more live talks. And thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for listening me.